So a few Artemis science updates. Did have an Artemis 2 crew named, and we have already started providing them some lunar education to get them up to speed. And I think that Cindy, you'll hear more from Cindy about that later today. We're also thinking a lot about Artemis 2 and all the ways that it can help us prepare for Artemis 3. I think you'll hear more from Kelsey about that later today. If you were at our town hall at LPSC, you'll know that we announced the project scientists for both Artemis 3 and 4. You know them, you love them, Barb and Noah. So we're excited to have them on board and already working hard. We do realize that those are big jobs and we're going to get them some help. So we're looking to add some deputies to help them fill those roles later this fall. We also have finally a contamination control scientist for Artemis on board. So congratulations to Andy Needham. We're super excited to have him as part of the team. And our last hole on the team is a curation lead. We've been working hard on that. We lost Julie Mitchell last July, so that's been a bit of a hole for the last year. But we're pretty close, and hopefully that position should be filled relatively soon. Next slide. As Joel mentioned, our Artemis 3 geology team proposals have been received. They're in review. We are looking to select that team and get them that announcement out this fall, maybe even late summer. I don't want to overpromise. The Artemis 3 deployed instrument call, the ADI, the draft is out. We do expect the final to be out very, very soon, imminent even. I was told to say eminently. So very quickly we'll get that out. We are looking to get the Artemis 4 call out later this year, next year, following not too far behind it. And as well as the LTV instruments call. So we've got the RFP, the request for proposal for the rover itself coming out pretty quickly, and then behind that we'll get out a call for instruments to put on the rover. We had a very successful Jet 3, the Joint EVA Test Team analog test last fall. It was sort of a very full-up Artemis 3 dress rehearsal, including a science back room with a competed science team, and I think you'll hear more about that later this afternoon from Kelsey. We're keeping her busy today. And we're gearing up now already for the Jet 5 analog test this fall, repeating that sort of full-up Artemis 3 dress rehearsal. We already have a science team selected for that through our analog activities call. They're already meeting and starting to work to plan that activity. So great progress there. We are excited that space has been identified in Building 30 in Mission Control at JSC for the science evaluation room, where the Artemis 3 geology team will sit for our real-time science activities. That design is being worked now based on a lot of the input that we got from those Jet 3 activities, and working to get that built over the next year or so. So we are making actual good progress there. Next slide. We are happy that we were able to announce ANCSA 2 selections this week. We have 3 fabulous consortia that are going to start looking at. These are different samples than we had for our first ANCSA. These are samples that are sort of nearing their precisionity limit, that are very high value samples. So we want to make sure we can wring all of the science that we can out of these very tiny samples. And so we've asked for these consortia to be put together to really go after the good science that we can do. It's amazing how much science we are still getting out of Apollo samples. It's another good reminder that samples are the gift that keep on giving, and that 50 years later we have still new and amazing science to be done on these samples. So congratulations to the selectees. Pending approval of their sample requests, I should add the caveat, but we are very excited to get these teams on board and looking at these Apollo samples as we gear up and get our labs ready for Artemis samples not too far down the road. Next slide. And in other selection news, we announced like a week and a half ago, I think now, the selections for the Survey Can 4 team. So we're very excited to get these teams on board too. It's a quite an array of really exciting science. The survey sort of sits at the intersection of lunar science and exploration, and so these teams are really going to help us get ready for Artemis in a number of ways. We've got modeling and sample science and a lot of things that are really going to help us get ready and prepare to do the most science that we can for Artemis. So we're really looking forward to getting these teams on board and working with them over the next several years. Next slide. And just one last slide here. I just wanted to put on everybody's calendars, save the date for August, that we are doing another LSSW that we will focus on geologic mapping for Artemis. Call for abstracts should be out soon. Those will be due mid-July. And the goal of this workshop is really an opportunity to bring the community that cares about geologic mapping together to think through, like, what do we want to do for Artemis? How do we organize ourselves as a community and make sure that we are ready for Artemis and get the information that the teams are going to need in order to do what we need to do for Artemis. So I'm really looking forward to that discussion. I hope you can put it all on your calendar and join us for that. And I believe that is my last slide.